In this week's episode, we'll discuss the topic growing pains, what every school owner should know before expanding their martial arts business. Welcome to Black Belt Banter, the best podcast to help your martial arts school increase profits and generate substantial revenue. I'm Jimmy Hong, and my co-host is our resident expert, Master Chan Lee. Today, we're joined by a true industry powerhouse, Sensei Solomon Brenner, the founder of Action Karate, a 30-year martial arts organization that has helped more than 50,000 families build confidence, focus, self-discipline, and grit. A lifelong student of leadership and personal growth, Sensei Solomon blends martial arts philosophy with world-class business frameworks to build schools that are profitable, scalable, and rooted in strong family values. What began as a small neighborhood school built on heart and community has evolved into a multi-location movement of 36 Action Karate schools. Today, Sensei Solomon is on a mission to empower school owners who want to grow without losing their soul. He partners with leaders who care about legacy, connections, and long-term impact, providing systems, mentorship, and leadership pipeline needed to thrive in a rapidly changing martial arts landscape. Welcome, gentlemen. Welcome to the show. Master Solomon, I only have one question for you. Why so few schools? Only 36? Come on, dropping the ball there, sir.
What's going on with that? When I go to like different like groups that I'm part of, or even groups that you guys are part of that I'm probably part of too, I do think it's only 36. When you look at outside of our industry, you know, Massage Envy, any fast food restaurant, there's thousands of locations. Like 36 is like, if I'm in a martial arts event, I do feel that like people are like, oh, that's awesome. But I do believe in reality, it's not that awesome. Please, I don't understand. I'm proud of my team. I'm proud of what we accomplished. Like my life is very fulfilling and wonderful. But from a business standpoint, 36, there's probably 36 Starbucks in Manhattan in a few block radius. So I do think the martial arts.
No, I'm sorry. That's a great point, because in any other industry, we're like, that's only 36. But I found a lot of school owners who try to go that multiple and other industry numbers wise, and they didn't get there. It's not like from lack of trying. You got there. You are there, Master Sensei. That's what this podcast I want to go is how you got there. That's going to be very interesting. I'm sorry, Master Chan.
Yeah.
Go ahead, sir.
When I first met Sensei Brenner, we were both around the same locations. I think you had 11 at the time and I had 5. And we would go to all the different seminars that were out there. I'd run into you and so forth. And then one day he did a ninja drop-in. He was like, hey, what are you doing? I'm like, nothing. What are you doing? He goes, I'm in Milwaukee. And I went, what? You're in Milwaukee? What are you doing in Milwaukee? He goes, yeah, do you mind if I see your school? I'm like, yeah, let me pick you up at the airport. So I showed you around our location.
Of course I remember that. It was surreal. It was amazing. Yeah, of course I remember that. And we came to see your schools because of how successful they were. You didn't just have people say how many schools they have. A lot of times it's like satellite schools, or it's just, they're just not that successful. They're not that well. You had good students and good profit. Anyway, it was super impressive. So of course we didn't come for any other reason but to see your school. We might have pretended we did, but we did not.
No, you were like, oh, I know you're also a big golfer. You're like, yeah, I want to check out some of the big golf courses.
I'm sure we
in
played
your
golf
area.
there. Yeah.
And then you stopped in our staff.
Wait, he can't play golf though. I don't know how you would have played golf with him.
I didn't play golf. I just pointed him in the right direction. Go to this course and go to that course.
Hold on before I forget. You probably remember, but I brag about it all the time on the golf course. My experience golfing with Birdie Kim.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. And she was trying to get back onto the U.S. Open tour at the time. And I know
she wasn't trying to get back. She just won it that year. You said to me, oh, do you know Birdie Kim? And I said, no. Yeah. And then you said she won the U.S. Open. I was like, awesome. You're like, any chance you want to golf with her? I was like, obviously. And then I stalked you at the Maya show for the next like 24 hours trying to make it happen. And then it did happen. It was like one of the highlights of my golfing. Like she was like every one of her shots was like my dream one shot I might have every 10 rounds. Like everyone was perfect. I was like, it was so exciting. Anyway, thank you so much. I was always so grateful for that.
Oh, my pleasure. Awesome. Yeah, I mean, that's one of my gifts. I'm able to connect good people together in different various things and so forth. And Birdie's a sweetheart.
She's so awesome.
Yeah.
I love Birdie.
But yeah, so you came and visited, and then we're in the same thing, and then we get busy with our own lives. And I didn't go to as many shows as I do, and doing my own thing, raising a family, this and that, and so forth. And then through the grapevine, I'm hearing like all great things about what you're doing in Philly and so forth. So take me through that process. Like what happened from 10 years ago, and it just didn't. You scaled in a relatively short period of time, 10 years. That I know you compare yourselves to other businesses, but in the martial art industry, you're an anomaly. I'm like, in that last decade, I opened one school. I'm up to 6 now. You did what? Like 36? It's like ridiculous.
Well, thank you so much for that. First of all, I think some of the stuff I'm going to say is going to sound cliche, but it's just not. I have amazing partners, many amazing partners. And this is what we do every single day. Like we're constantly trying to figure out how to make our schools we currently have stronger and how to open up in more communities. Every day, that's our mission. That's what we're constantly working on. Just like for an individual karate school, the mission should be, how do I get new students, keep those students, and develop instructors? And if you're doing those 3 things every day, you're going to have bench strength, you're going to be able to grow, you're going to be able to make a life. For us, it's been going outside the industry, trying to figure it out. I think our business model lends itself that we're exceptionally generous. Like our people do really well with us, and we don't own, and we can get into this if you want, but like our business model is, I don't know if any of the other industry has exactly the way that we do it, but our way definitely works for us. And I think it is the way that most schools should be trying to do it. But the philosophy of, we look at ourselves similar to a learning hospital. So learning, like a university hospital isn't a hospital. They have a philosophy of learn one, do one, teach one. And we try to do the same thing. So of course it doesn't happen perfectly, but like nobody should ever be teaching class where they're not teaching somebody else how to teach class at the same time. Nobody should be doing like an enrollment or like an intro where somebody else is not standing there learning how to do it. So if you look at it that way, and we used to always think about, probably in the beginning, I think you guys have been around super long time, way longer than us. We've been around for 31 years. It was like, okay, how do we get people to black belt? But that's fine. But we all know that's the beginning, right? In our system, we call that like an advanced beginner. So the real question is, how do we get everyone to instructor? So everything became not like, how do we get them to black belt? How do we get them to black belt? Which was at the beginning. It became, all right, how to every person? How do we get every person to be an instructor in some way, whether they're part-time, full-time, volunteer, certified instructor? So we created levels, and that becomes what we're doing consistently. And then I don't know if you guys ever heard the phrase, everyone gets promoted to incompetence. And for us, it's definitely true. So like for us, like we would do is, somebody's a really good part-time instructor, and we'd be like, look how instructor become, you think, oh, they're so good at helping, they'll be good instructor or head instructor. And then, oh, they're such a good head instructor, they'd be a great like school manager, but they're not. They were a good head instructor. They're good. So like when we began to learn that, we started to realize every level needs so much training. And for us now, many of our schools own parts of other schools. So one of the things that we train them now is, okay, how do they mentor the schools under them? That's a whole nother skill set. So it's like constantly us trying to get out of our own incompetence, right? Because now it's like, wait a minute, because every time something goes wrong, we have to accept full responsibility for it. It's easy for us to say, and my ego wants to be like, it's them. I can't help it. I already run schools. They should figure this out. But that's not it. If they're with us, then it's our job to figure out how to help them do it. So we have to constantly, like John Maxwell talks about, like the law of the lid. Like we have to constantly raise our lid, which is hard, right? Like every day, like listening to the podcast, reading books. I listen to your guys' podcast. I love it. Like just constantly doing that. But I think having that mindset of students, get them, keep them, turn them into instructors, and trying to do that with everyone, the cream rise to the top. So eventually you find the best people, and weeding them out and getting the ones that are the best is what we're constantly working on, and also making mistakes on.
Yeah. Sensei Brent, that's a huge mindset, because everyone that I talk to in our industry, their goal for their students is for them to join the Black Belt Club and become a Black Belt. Your mindset, as soon as they walk in, is forget Black Belt. You want them to go beyond Black Belt into every one of these students into some type of instructorship.
Everybody.
That if they just ship that mindset right there, that would
We
be
even
a
have
game
certification
changer.
now for the parents, so that we call it like parent coaches. And so they go through a certification, they get invited. Not a ton of them do it, but then they come out on the floor and they can hold pads. Like we teach them how to hold pads during certification. We teach them the basic, like 4 parts of a side kick, 4 parts of a front kick. Do they know it perfectly? No. They also learn like how to get out of the way when the instructor's talking, how to like focus a kid really fast. They learn like the basic teaching stuff. So now parents that don't even do martial arts, but now they're out there holding pads. And what happens some of the time, not all the time, is they start to feel like a sense of like incongruency, where they're like, I'm out here teaching, I'm out here like helping with class. I don't even take karate. I got to start class. We're like, oh, we'd love to have you in class. Now they're in the adult class and they're teaching class. So like anybody who's in our building, we're trying to figure out a way, if they have good character, and that really is the key, right? They have to, if they're the person that's complaining about everything, they're probably not invited. But if they're I shouldn't say that. Even if they're complaining,
So,
even
Master
if they
Chan,
complain
would
about
that
everything, we sometimes invite them to try and fix that complaining. Hey, you know what? You're right about a lot of these things. Why don't you come out and teach with us, and you can help fix all the things that you're complaining about? We'd love to have you. We can use your input. And we've had some people that literally went from like the biggest pain in the butt to like the greatest cheerleader for us, like immediately upon like us like trying to tweak them into the direction that we want everybody going.
Jimmy, I
That
know
he's
you
a
were
pain
going
in
to
the butt.
say I would have been
Yeah.
with that parent. I would have been the biggest pain in the butt that turned into the greatest instructor at Action
you would
Karate.
have been, you would have been
Yeah.
invited.
He would have started even trying to invite him to come train here all the time. He never shows up. Yeah.
So
Really?
But any of you would love to come. I would be delighted. Anytime
be
any
there.
of you want to come do seminars at our school, we would be delighted to pay you to do that. Take you out to dinner, visit our school, go golfing if you golf. We had Roland Osborne last
I
week.
do.
This year we had Roland Osborne. We had Mr. Kovar comes 3 times a year. We've had Mr. Silva this year, Paul Garcia this year, Chris Rappold this year. Okay. By the way, that's another
Wow.
whole like thing that I'm sure. If you guys are Zig Ziglar fans, he talks about, what if I train my people and then they leave? And he says, what if you don't train them and they stay? And so
Right.
we constantly, now we're super lucky because when you when you split the cost up over 36 schools, each school pays a couple $100. You know what I mean? It's not that big of a deal.
Right.
We are educating our people. Sometimes I think it's almost like too much. It'll be like one seminar after. I would say every other month there's somebody here. And then sometimes it's for a couple days, and we'd love to, and I'm not joking at all. We'd love to have one of you guys or both you guys. It'd be wonderful. We'd love that. And you could,
We'll both be
Anytime.
there. We'll both be there.
I'll be
We're gonna go together.
I'll be on the East Coast.
I know you
quite
said
a
that
bit.
last time.
Yep. I know. I got stuck in the lacrosse field for my daughter, so I haven't been able to kind of like visit because I'm always like, do you need water? Do you need banana? Do you need to get a massage to get ready for the next
I
set
look
of
forward.
games?
I look
Anyway,
forward to
I've been
doing
in
that for my. I don't
mode.
think you got stuck on that field. I think you're a very blessed man on that field. You have an
I-
athletic
I am-
daughter.
I'm
You
a
have an
very
athletic,
blessed
healthy
man.
daughter. I think there's no bigger blessing.
Absolutely.
He has
Absolutely.
2 daughters that are complete opposite. The oldest daughter is so smart.
Be careful what you're about to just say.
Brainiac,
You just said
and
one of
then
his
his-
daughters is super smart, and they're opposites. Whatever you're about to say sounds like it might be insulting to his daughter.
I only meant it in complimentary. I
The other
didn't
one's
think about
athletic,
that,
right?
but his second daughter is so athletic and getting to college through lacrosse athleticism. It's amazing. I don't know where to grow. Obviously, it's from the
Of
mom,
course.
so
But
I
the
don't know.
question I have
Wait.
mostly, and I need you to answer honestly, Master Lee, is which daughter do you love the most? Say it quickly.
I love both of them equally.
I saw the way you winked and crossed your finger. I
Yeah.
know you did.
If you're a martial arts school owner who feels overwhelmed, stuck, or frustrated trying to grow your school, you're not alone. Most school owners are wearing every hat: marketing, sales, staffing, retention, and still wondering why growth feels harder than it should. You're trying different ideas, watching videos, listening to podcasts, but you're missing clear direction and real accountability. That's exactly why we created ASA Live. ASA Live is a monthly live coaching and strategy session led by Master Chan Lee, Master Tony Chung, and the team behind the Black Belt Banter podcast, designed specifically for martial arts school owners who want real answers. We break down what's working right now in marketing, operations, leadership, and revenue, and you could bring your specific school questions to every session. And here's the crazy part. ASA Live is only $97 per month. That's it. The lowest price in our industry while delivering some of the highest value most actionable content available anywhere. That's half the price of a coffee per day, and the return on your investment can be game changing. We priced it this low on purpose so every serious school owner could be in the room. If you're tired of guessing, tired of doing this alone, and ready to grow with clarity, Asa Live is for you. Join us today at asamartialarts.com/live and start building a school that can add thousands in monthly revenue, improve cash flow, and increase profits without working more hours. For $97 a month, even one new student, one saved cancellation, or one better price program can pay for Asa Live many times over. Stop leaving money on the table. Build a school that actually earns what it should.
We have one daughter, what I call a PETA, pain in the ass. And I have another daughter that is like on it all the time. But I love them equally because it's amazing how different they come out. The pressure, the real pressure is you're looked at as this guru that's going to help your kids become more confident and be more disciplined. And they're like, what are your kids like? So there's a little bit of stress where you go, well, of course, I want my kids to be happy, but I also want them to be high performers in life. That's the ultimate goal of all parents, is that they want their kids to outdo them. I think that's like a truism, right? You don't think and you go, gosh, you can't be richer than I am. You can't be happier than me. That's not how it is as a parent. A parent has this, I want you to outclass me in circles. And we try to give everything we can for our kids and so forth. But I have a question about like your structure, right? And, 20 years ago, I think you and we both studied a lot of different organizations, and some organizations are like Starbucks, right? We own all the locations, right? And then we'll pay you handsomely, but we're going to be the owners of this. And then some people try the franchising route, and a lot have failed spectacularly trying to franchise their brand, right? And I came to the conclusion that I work best with partnerships and so forth. And so that's how I structured my organization, is that I don't want to be the only person that's in charge of everything. I want us to all spread that responsibility, and then we also all grow together as well. If you don't mind, what's the structure? It sounds like you guys are also partnerships.
We are now, yes, sir. So we have a couple layers. We started out licensing. I think a lot of people do because it's just easier and cheaper than franchising. Over the last few years, we switched it to a franchise just because everybody keeps telling me that's what we need to do. So we just, for all intents and purposes, we act exactly the same way. But now there's a franchise agreement instead of a license agreement. And then some of our schools are strictly a franchise. 14 of them are, I have some ownership interest in it that equals out to 51%. So my one partner and I might own 51%, or I have another partner, you guys know Michael St. John. He's sometimes part of that partnership with us. So he'll own part of that. If I'm a partner in it, my block owns 51% of it. And then some of our other schools, they own 51% of other schools. Master Lead, your student is Master Hung, and then, it's going great. We would say to you, hey, how much do you like him? Do you think he's really got what it takes? And you'd say, oh my God, he's like my favorite student. He's so clever in business. He's going to be amazing. But you don't want to give up too many instructors, right? So you might say to Master Hung, hey, on your first school, I'll put in 51% of the money. Plus anytime you need an instructor, you need anybody, we're partners. So I'll be happy to send anybody over. And from my point of view, now you're helping him so that everybody's going in the same boat. And then Master Hong, when he has his students, he'll pretty much do the exact same thing. Not required, but he can. If he wants to, he can. So we have a bunch of schools that they get distribution from a bunch of schools, and they're always helping them, and it's really wonderful.
Nice. That's brilliant, because you don't have a my school only mentality. You have the whole organization mentality that you want to help, because you're all part of that multiple schools that you want to rate. You want a betterment of all these other schools.
Some of our schools are pretty close together. And even if they weren't, like, the name is still the same. So if we talk about openly, we're only as good as our weakest school. So if one of our schools truly isn't that good with bad customer service, they're not answering the phone, the school's dirty, whatever, will affect completely? Probably not, but it certainly doesn't. If I have a cousin that lives across wherever, and I saw this dirty school, I'm going to be like, oh, don't go there. I already went there. It's disgusting, whatever. So we have to all try our best, even not for ourselves, but for our other people, our other teammates. So we do talk about that too.
Has that happened, and how did you deal with it?
It hasn't really happened. We have a meeting 4 days a week on Zoom, and one of the days everything is systematized. One of the days is white glove clean, and you're supposed to walk around your school and check if it's white glove clean. Now, all of our schools, if you guys went to visit, really white glove clean? Of course not. But I would say they're definitely better than the average karate school by far. And when a school is sloppy, we'll go and we'll say something. We'll be like, hey, why don't we get a painter in here? Why don't we get some new mats? Or, hey, these targets need to be replaced. Why don't we? So we're pretty straight about it. I don't think we're as good. We're not like directly like for everybody, but we do try to treat everybody the way they need to be treated. Are you guys Enneagram fans? Enneagram is
No.
like Strength Finder or Myers-Briggs or one of those things. The one we
Oh,
the one we
Myers-Briggs.
use
Yeah, the
exactly.
personality test.
So the one that we use is called, I don't know if it's better or worse than any of the other ones, but just the one we use because one of our certified instructors was like a world-class coach in it. We just use that one. And it teaches you like every person needs to be spoke to in a different way. So if I had to have a tough conversation with Mr. Hong before I did it, I would know his Enneagram number and I would go research and find out like exactly how he needs to be spoken to for him to hear it without being defensive. So I would actually have a script. I've gone to meetings with some of our team where the script is in my hand, like they see it. And I'm like, no, I want to make sure that we get everything done. I don't offend you in any way. I am being professional. Like I did my research. I'm pretty much going to read you my script. And they're like, oh, it's really cool that you care so much. Like, I'm not saying off the top of my head. I'm not going to say the way that I would want to hear it. I'm going to say the way you need to hear it.
That is some next level stuff because
Fascinating. Because
Yeah.
you got to talk to Gen Zers this way, millennials that way.
Well, it's like the love. You guys,
yeah, that is
do you guys know
really
the
good
love
stuff.
languages? Oh,
Oh,
No.
time ago.
I don't
Yeah,
even
yeah, yeah.
use love languages with my wife, so I wouldn't.
yeah. So it's like the same thing. You have to like just talk to people and motivate people the way they need to be motivated. Not everybody's equal. Not everybody's the same.
That's brilliant. And
Cool,
I
Michelle.
think sometimes that's one of the biggest issues within schools is like the personal, interpersonal drama, right? This person said this to me. This person made me really upset. And then you're like, half your day is dealing with like little fires like that. You know what I mean?
Yes, we
Yes,
do,
sir.
but we also added in the last few years, which you guys can add in too. We have a professional, she doesn't work for us exclusively, but she's a professional business coach. So if you two are working in the same school and Master Hong is complaining about you're late and then Master Lee's complaining you didn't have enough enrollments, first of all, I tell you guys need to talk to each other. I'd be like, you need to like just openly be honest with each other, come up with a plan and talk. But we would also suggest that you guys go to the business coaching sessions, which is it's pretty much exactly marriage counseling. It's just like how to communicate better. And then
Right.
the school pays for that for them. Okay, we got to we got to learn how to communicate better. And we send them off to that. And the coach, now that she's been doing it for a few years, like knows all the characters and she knows what we want out of it. We want them to be more successful in general. So she guides it, I think, that way. So again, we do like whatever it takes, like whatever it's going to take to get everybody to move in the right direction. We're on board.
That's fascinating. I'm sorry. Because business partnership is essentially
It's exactly
a
a
marriage.
marriage. It's
Right.
exactly
Business
a marriage.
partnership,
It's brilliant. It's brilliant. And I'm assuming most of the strife happens with the younger staff, right?
It's so
No?
interesting. Like people that are younger, older, doesn't matter. And also some of them that were best friends going into it turn out to hate each other for some period of time, like for whatever reason. Like, and then, then they get their act together.
could see
Think
that.
about how stressful it is. I remember when we first opened our first school, Jacqueline and I fought over everything. And the reality of it was after looking back, I thought we were fighting because she was being unreasonable the whole time. But when looking back, it had nothing to do with either of us. It had to do with the stress of trying to start a business. We had zero money. Like we were dying every day. She had a family to deal with, like all this stuff. But once we got to a level of success, a lot of that pressure like melted away. And then all the stuff we fought over seemed like crazy to fight over. Like we would never, but yet franchising, there's 5 or 6 steps that everybody goes through. It's going from like a baby to an adult. And like one of them is almost like teenage years where like you're a total pain. And so we also teach those 6 steps to them. So it doesn't stop them from going through it, but it does. We could say to them like, hey, where do you think you are right now? And they'll be like, oh, I'm in the blank stage. Exactly. So you're in it. Let's hopefully we can get through it fast. So we teach them the 6 stages. It's really cool. I forget all the stages right now. I don't have the paper in front of me, but like the first stage is glee. And that's like when like you first decide to open up your own school. It seems like it's going to be super exciting. It's going to be amazing. But then the second stage is called the fee stage. And the fee stage is everybody's getting paid but you. You're paying rent, you're paying your franchise fees, you're paying the electric bill, you're paying maybe some staff. You're working like 80 hours a week and you're getting nothing. Like you're just starting this business. And then you're thinking, what did I get myself? And most of our people came from professional backgrounds. So they went from making good money to no money. And they're like, what did I get myself involved in? And you're not home for dinner anymore. You're on Saturdays, your birthday parties. They're like, what? This is nuts. Anyway, it goes through like all these stages. And then like eventually you get to the we stage, which you realize like we're all in this together. You're successful. Like one of the stages, I forget what it's called, but like it's like the me stage. It's when you hit success and like everything's going great and you take all the credit for it. Like the organization didn't help you at all. Like you're like, I'm the best. All these people come and bow, and karate is crazy. It's like all these people bow to me. They call me sir. I'm the best. And then that gets you. Now you start not doing what you should be doing anyway stages. So
you have actually categorized like all the stages that I've seen in like school ownership throughout the years.
that's what it is. Yeah,
And and then you get the ultra successful guy. And then all of a sudden, 2 years later, they're like almost bankrupt. And you're like, what happened? They didn't do what they needed to do to get there.
Or stay there.
Yeah, stay there. That's absolutely brilliant. Did you come up with that, or did the business coach help you with that?
I would say I've come up with nothing in my life. I would say I'm a super good finder of information, and I'm a very good implementer. So if I find it, it gets put into the system, and we try not to forget to use it. So no, it's actually a franchise thing that like they teach you that all franchisees go through it, but it's really all business people go through it. So that we teach it to our people in the beginning. Like, hey, here's the phases, blah, blah, blah. And then they go through that. I have a question for you guys I was just thinking about, only because I keep getting these phone calls. And how often do you guys have private equity calls?
Oh, my God. I'm getting at least once a month.
That's a lot. That's more than we get.
At least once a month. Yeah. But I think they ended up purchasing some things in my area. So I'm getting, not everybody is now, they've maybe hit all the big markets. Now that I think they're hitting the smaller markets and going after it. I think one of the local gymnastic schools got into it and so forth. I know private equity is getting hit up. I have a good friend that runs a heating and air conditioning company, and he's getting hit up a lot. And now he's pushed out the plumbing too. So it's a little bit nuts, but he has a very solid reputation in town. And he said he's getting a lot of calls as well.
Are you thinking about it, Sensei Brenner?
No, definitely not us selling. No, I think it's too good. I think it's silly for us to sell. So have you guys had any actual like multiple offers that like they offer me 3x, 4x, 5x, 6x or anything like that?
I didn't go down that rabbit hole. I always take the call and then just see what the grift is about a little bit. And then they're like, all right, we need your bank account information. We need your tax returns. And I was like, okay, this is where we stop. I don't need that out there. It's out there enough with my bankers. I don't need additional stuff knowing what.
Yeah, that's true. We've gone down, we've had a bunch of meetings. I would never sell because I love what I do too much. And I don't think they offer enough to make it ever make sense. I think their offer is silly.
Right.
But I do think that there will have to be a roll up at some point. And I would like to be part of that. I think that could be done really well, where like you get a few hundred schools put together. And I think there could it could be a real opportunity for all the people involved in it from the beginning to the end. Because it's so interesting. If let's say your total EBITDA for all your schools is, let's say 2 to 3 million, there's one multiple. It might be like 3 to 5. But if your EBITDA is 5 million to 10 million, now the multiple it's very interesting to me at least. Now the multiple might be like 5 to 10. So you're making more money. Plus they're going to give you a way bigger multiple. If you're doing 5 million, they're going to pay you 25 to 50 million. Compared to if you're only doing 2 million, they're only going to give you 6 million or something. You know what I mean? It's like a giant difference. Then I think now that's 10x is a way more interesting conversation than 3 or 20x. Dick's Sporting Goods or something just got bought for 25x. It's like crazy.
So this kind of brings up a great point, right? I think you and I grew up in the days where the martial art industry wasn't really looked at as a good industry to be in. Kind of, you didn't do well in school or something, or you couldn't make it doing anything else. It's a hobby profession. And I had like kind of an awakening when I went Mr. St. John, and I asked him, I said, where'd you go to college? He goes, UPenn. I went, wait, you went to an Ivy? And I said, wait, so you had scholarships to go to UPenn. And then I'm like, okay, so you went to an Ivy and now you're going to be running martial arts schools with Sensei Brenner here. And he saw the light. Can you give a little bit of insight on how that happened? He was a student of yours. And my whole point for everybody listening is to say, we are all in a really great industry. We're in an incredible industry that's hidden. yeah, you got to know your stuff. You got to know martial arts. It is a martial art thing. But in terms of that, can you explain some insight on like how you talked with Mr. St. John and some of your people and so forth, and trying to say, hey, this is a really good career.
Number one, it's got to actually be a good opportunity within your own school.
Right.
And I think I've been
That's
talking,
true.
just the other day, I was talking to a broker, like in our space who calls like a lot of child enrichment places. And he was saying that there are very far and few between martial arts schools that have a profitability of between 25 and 35%. He said most that he talks to that are like, he said that you would think were they're $1 million schools, maybe two schools doing $1.5 million. They would think, oh my God, that's so awesome. He said, but they're making 10%, maybe 15 if they're lucky. So number one, it has to actually be where you have profit of 25 to 35% after everybody's paid. That's not the person working there. That's the owner. So that has to actually happen. And one of the ways, a lot of our partners were professionals. We have people with doctorates. We have people that were engineers that now run karate schools. And certainly, I'm sure somebody would rather say their child is an engineer than say they run a karate school. Like you were saying earlier, Master Lady, the business actually has to be able to produce more than they would make as an engineer. And for us, for the people that have been around 3 years or more that have been running the system the way that we do it, they do make more money. One of my favorite, first of all, Sensei Michael is making more money than his professors when he was in school. And there's another guy, same thing. He was like 20 years old. He has a really good story. It's actually on my brother's podcast. I think he was like, when he was 19, he said to his parents, like, hey, I want to open a karate school. And they said, yeah, that's nice after you're done college. He's, I don't want to wait till after college. I want to do it now. And he comes from like legitimately the most perfect family, like great jobs, perfect school district, kid does perfect in school. Like obviously that he's going to college. And his parents just said no until he pretty much was like, okay, I'm doing it with or without you kind of thing. And like I'm doing this. And of course they're super supportive parents. And when he was probably in his second year of college, I was like, how much do you think a college professor makes? And he said, whatever. And I was like, you make more than them now, right? You're a sophomore and you make more than they do. I was like, that's pretty awesome. And you're going to school at the same time. Like when you're out of school, you'll be able to dedicate more of your life to it, more of your hours. You'll even do better. And when his friends were out like looking for jobs, he was making more money than like his friends' dads. And then here's what's cool about this. So that's awesome, right? He bought a house when he was super young, like on his own. Parents didn't give him any money. Like he did it himself as a rental property. So fast forward like 6 years later, his mom just bought into a karate school. So his mom now owns a piece because she's been watching him the whole time. And she's like,
Wow.
and so she worked for us like a whole bunch of different times in different schools. She's amazing. And then she's like, I have an idea. Why don't I just buy into one myself? I already work there. I might as well get the equity at the same time. And then her goal is to work 3 to 5 years and then have somebody replace her and get her distributions, go to that. The same person, his friend from high school, now owns a school. So my point is it's got to actually be something. It can't just be like, I'm a slave for my instructor.
Hearing you guys talk, there's a vast difference of your mentality, both Master Chan and Sensei Brenner versus a typical school owners that are out there. Our audience are made up of a single school owner, about 100, 200, 220 student count. But none of their parents, none of their students even know about a pathway to partnership that they could partner with their master or with their head instructor. You educate your parents, your students from the very beginning that there is a pathway to that. And one of the reasons why other schools don't do that is because their parents, their families, their students don't know about it. There's no opportunities like that. They can't even think about opportunities from themselves as the school owner and the parents and potential great instructors and masters that they could partner up with. They don't have any idea about it. So that's what I'm getting from this conversation, how you guys are talking, the way that you describe your parents and your staff and your students and your parents, importantly, other school owners don't do that. They don't have that mindset.
You
They don't
know,
have that
I don't
communication and
blame them though.
mentality.
I think if I was on my own, it would be too hard to do it. There's so many moving parts between trying to get new students, keeping the students you have, running your buddy nights, blah, running birthdays. There's so much to do. Like we provide all that for our people. There's a meeting 4 days a week. And on the meeting, simple things like invite 3 people every week, they have to invite 3 people to do a Google review. So while we're on the Zoom call, they're texting 3 students, hey, and we have a little thing that we send to do that. Okay, now I want you to go through your attendance card box and invite 3 people to blank enrollment director certification. We just did a certification.
Wait, time out, sir. Do you still use attendance cards?
We do.
Wow.
We've tried some
massive.
We've tried other things, and
Wow.
the software that we use, we do put the attendance in it because it texts people like, "Hey, Master Lee, I haven't seen your daughter in class this week. Is everything okay?" So it does it automatically. Like we do that. The attendance cards, you can see their attendance immediately, so you can say, "Hey, Mom, I noticed you guys weren't here last week. You can make it up this week." And hey, it's your birthday. Happy birthday. It's just so easy, and I don't know. We just love our attendance cards, and we tried to get rid of them. We always go back. I think
It's like it's like some things you shouldn't just change. I semi-regret not doing attendance cards because it was much easier, and you're thinking the computer is going to help you out.
I think some automation, like for us, and then you remember we have new instructors all the time, so that's a way for them to memorize their names. Like we'll send them to collect the cards. Hi, sir. Hi, May. So it's
Wait, why would, what do you mean you have new instructors all the time?
we're consistently training new instructors, right? Like we have a certification. We have at least 4 certifications every quarter. So there's always new people like learning how to teach, whether it's like the parent coaches or somebody. We have certifications for every different section. So there's constantly new people, new instructors. So they have to learn all these kids' names. So that when they collect the attendance cards, that's how they do it. The idea is, okay, try and learn 2 or 3 names every time you come to class. And then eventually they get it because they collect the cards. Hi, Mr. Jimmy, how are you today, sir? Hi, Mr. Chan, how are you today, sir? And that's how they do it.
Wow.
Anyway, I think it's very hard to do all the stuff you're doing it on your own. Like I think that is like getting everybody to invite people to certifications, getting everybody to come to things, constantly inviting. And that's the other thing, like all this automation that's out there, and we use as much as we can. And I love automation. There's no substitute for human interaction. There is no way, like you getting some text from me is one thing, but if I call you and say, hey, blah, 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 there's a connection. It's different. So, we can send a text to invite you to certification, but when you come to class and I say, hey, Master Hung, I think you'd be a really good enrollment director. I was really thinking, I watch you during class. I talk to people and you're like really gifted with people. I'd love for you to come to it. Can you make it? That's different than like some generalized text.
At our last American Sabanim Association meeting, I talked about my daughter's in college and she's always like facing how is AI going to take some careers and what career to get into and so forth. And I told everybody there, I'm like, I don't think AI is going to take over running a Taekwondo school, right? Or a martial arts school in general. It's just such a personality driven thing and you've got to find the right people. And yeah, there are some aspects of AI you can use within your dojang. And if you're looking for a career, I think it's one of these things where you're right. It's going to go too far to the other side of too much AI, and people want to talk to a real human being.
Touch human being, like doing self-defense and hold targets and have feedback. And yeah, without a doubt. Although I do have a friend who's super into robots, like he's a robot manufacturer. And I said, can you make me a robot instructor? And he said, I think we probably can eventually. And I was like, oh my God.
Wow.
I can't say. Okay, another thing that I was thinking about is that when I first heard Sensei Brenner, 36 locations, operating 36 locations, I couldn't even wrap my brain around it. So if I couldn't wrap my brain around it, I know there's a lot of school owners that would have. I couldn't even wrap my head around operating 36 locations, partnering, so forth. But if I can't wrap my head around it, there's no way I can ever achieve even close to that because I can't even like dream, plan, set a goal for that many locations. And by default, there's no way I'm going to be that successful just because I already created this barrier of like 36 locations. That's crazy. There's no way that can be done. The mindset shift that school owners need to have is they got to dream big and they got to start somewhere, right? No, your average school owner doesn't even think. They're thinking about how do I get to my second location, third location. They don't think about 20s, 30s, 40s. I mean, there's just no way. And I think that's one of the, I'm having this huge mindset difference and changes that we got to instill as a business owner, as a martial art master, is that shift in that mindset. What do you think is really important for a single school owner to go into multiple locations that you can advise them now, that they could implement now and start working towards that?
One is decide, it seems, I love our organization, and I like every day I wake up and I'm legitimately grateful, and I love the whole part. I love all of it. But I would see that some people's personality would not love this at all. So you could have one location, wildly profitable, and not have some of the issues that we would have. Now, again, I like all our issues. Like I love, Elon Musk says the privilege of being more successful is you just get to solve bigger problems, right? Don't be sad the problem is there. You're more successful, so there's naturally bigger problems. I love that. So I think the first step would be deciding if that's really your bag or not. And you might not like that. You might say, I don't want to do any of that stuff. I want to run one location, and that's also great. But and it's also not like I'm trying to go from like 1 to 10. You're just going from 1 to 2, and then it's one more. And I think it's two things. Number one is recognizing what is really important in an instructor. And for us, it's hungry, humble, and smart. Nowhere do I say really good front kick. Do we get them to do a pretty good front kick? Absolutely. Do we get them to be like Kempo snappy? Yes. But hungry, humble, and smart is what they need to run a business, to run a school. And they need to wake up every day with that like fire in them, that like they're going to go do something. And then number two, if you want to do it faster, when we talk about this to our team all the time, when we say you need to become friends with or visit other people like you guys, and I know you guys have your ASA organization and all that, people that don't take advantage of it are insane. I shouldn't say insane. They don't, it's never going to work. Like they have to wake up every day, like not saying like, how can I afford it? But of course, how can I afford not to go? Like, or just figure out a way to make it happen. I know Master Lee because I was at all the same seminars. How many hundreds of thousands of dollars do you think you spent on these seminars? I think we tried to figure it out one day. And it was like over $500,000 on these seminars. But it would have been easier to buy a bigger TV. Like at my house, I could have watched some more Netflix. But you have to like put yourself in the room with other people. We're part of different things with franchising groups and stuff like that. And we haven't done it yet. And I'm not trying to sell anything, but we have thought about like, all right, what if we did something where we did, do you guys know what an area rep model is? Like in franchising?
Is that where you have an open discovery and roughly?
Okay, so let's say, I'll tell you what my version of it is. My version is, and I have a friend who did this a few times and it seemed it worked out really well, is instead of selling franchises, you bring on area rep partners, right? And so the partner is, so let's say the franchise fee is 8%. I would say to somebody in New York, let's say, that's doing pretty well. They already have a pretty good operation. They have 2 schools or 3 schools or whatever, or 1 school, but they're doing great, but like they don't really have the infrastructure to grow to 10 schools or even 5 schools. We would say to them like, hey, you're the area rep. We charge 8%. You're going to get 4. We're going to get 4, but everybody plugs into our thing. So now you're on our side of it. We're going to do it together. We're taking half of it. When I say half, we're only taking half. But you're in charge of like your 5 schools that we're going to help you create. They're going to do our certifications. You can keep the name of your school. That's fine. But now we do that 30 times 5 schools or 3 schools. That's 90 to 150 schools. And we're also going to help make you more profitable. We're going to teach you how to, do your retirement account. We also buy a lot of our buildings. We'll teach you how to buy the real estate. Anyway, we haven't done it yet, but one of the things that I keep thinking, like, I think I'd have fun doing it.
Oh, absolutely. And we're in an industry where it's hard to get people past their ego.
That's true. That's true.
Right? Where they're in their way, right? Where it's Park's Karate or Lee's Taekwondo or whatever. And now you're so invested into the curriculum or how things are taught or how things are done. This industry in some aspects is so unique with the ego, and you've got to be around good people because there are some people, you ever like go somewhere socially and they're like, yes, I'm Master Lee. Like, what else would you like do that in a public setting? You know what I mean? You're at the, anyway.
I know. When that happens, I always think that's what's wrong with the industry. I'm always like, what is happening right now? I'm like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. The only thing more embarrassing is when I bounce change by accident.
What about like financial metrics? Do you recommend any standards of financial metrics or is it just how successful you are with that original location
Oh,
before
about
you even
opening up
thinking
another?
about
No, no,
expanding?
no.
Do you have any?
I
Yeah.
I think your first location, you should have the proof of concept, right? Like it shouldn't be like you're struggling and to pay the rent and you're telling somebody else, oh, follow my business model. For us, I would say somewhere between 30 and 50% profit margin. 30% is totally great. At a high level, the school's doing 360. I'm always saying 360 because I feel it's like an old standard for us. Yeah, like 30,000 a month.
Yeah.
For us, that's like where we finally take a deep breath for a new school. Oh, thank goodness we're there. But like in reality, 40 to 50, where we're like, okay, this is cool now. And then 30% profit on that after the instructors are paid. So usually the person who's running it is an instructor, so they're getting paid as an instructor, and then they're getting their distributions.
Plus they're taking the distribution.
They're taking their. So I
It's
think they're the
brilliant.
numbers that
Yeah.
for me, like, there's no point of opening another school if the school you have. I think I heard the quote the other day that I've been using a lot. Don't have any extra kids if you can't feed the ones you have. So I try and think of it like that way. Like, what's the point of another school if the one
No,
is like
100%.
not doing as well?
Yeah.
Let's get this. And it's also, I think, irresponsible to the people. Like when I invited Michael St. John to do this, like I knew that he would have this tremendously amazing life because I knew how of a hard worker he was. I knew how intelligent he was and all that. But I knew the model was there. Like we were already doing it. And I knew that he would just make it better with us and with us. So, and I believe that every time I talk to somebody, like when they have these awesome careers, and I'm like, yeah, I know, but do you love doing it? No, I hate going there every day. Yeah, I know I make great money, but I'm not helping anybody. Okay, you can help people and make great money. Now that's awesome. Now, I don't know. I'm sure you guys have the same thing. Like there's parents in your lobby that have really cool jobs. Like for me, there was like always one or two parents that were like venture capitalists or hedge fund like hedge fund. And I always thought like so cool. But when I would talk to them, first of all, they were always out of shape. So I always thought, okay, what's the benefit of this? They weren't like Billions, the TV show, where like he's like in super good shape. They were always out of shape. And I would talk to them personally. They always had an ulcer. They were up when the London market opened, and they'd go to bed when like the Asian markets closed. It was always like some totally bananas lifestyle. They had beautiful cars, big fat house, a boat. They had all this cool stuff, but who cares? Do you know what I mean? I think yeah, right, exactly. I'd rather have all that stuff and I'm healthy. And when I go to the supermarket, people are like honored. It's the other day I was at the library with my daughter this is so cool. I was at the library with my daughter for a play date. So I'm sitting there talking to the other mom for the play date. And then some man comes up to me, pretty much bows to me, and then tells me what an honor it is to see me in the library. Now, I'm slightly embarrassed, but I'm also like pretty much like, because the mom's listening. And she doesn't know. She knows I maybe run a karate school, maybe, because I wear this shirt every day. I drop hair off for school. But she doesn't really know. And his dad goes on how I changed his daughter's life. And if it wasn't for me, she wouldn't be where she is today. And I'm sure all the stories you guys have heard the same thing. And I was like, am I in a dream right now? This is so cool. And I was like, truly, I kept saying to the dad, it's an honor that you guys would come to our school. I'm so honored that you would trust your daughter with us, your most prized possession. And he kept saying the opposite, like how lucky he was to be. And then the funny, cool part was this mom listening. What's happening right now? She's like, what? And I was thinking, like, what other job does that happen on? There's nothing. I make a fine, and I get these crazy accolades everywhere I go in town.
Right.
I love it.
No, 100%, 100%. I think one of the secrets to your success is you have a great product. You have a great teaching floor. You have a philosophy people buy in. People are not spending, I'm just making a number up, 100,000, 200,000 to buy into something if they don't believe in it and they don't believe in what it does. No one goes, man, I'm gonna put money in and I'm gonna make a lot of money. Yes, that's one part of the equation, but then the other part is it's how many rich people do we know where they are totally unsatisfied with their life because they don't feel like they're making a difference? And I think this fulfills both ends of that. And we're really blessed to be in this as a career. I think you're doing something really special there. So
we are doing something, three of us.
I'm blown away.
Something special. It is very awesome.
But that's awesome. I am very happy for all your success, and it's well deserved. You are a master teacher. You're always every seminar, everywhere I go to, I'm like, oh, there he is. Or you and I are big Master Kovar fans, and you're still training with him and still doing that, and that is so cool. And
So do you go
No,
to Sacramento?
no, he comes
Sensei
here 3
Brenner?
times a year.
no, he
No,
comes to
I-
me.
They're-
He
they're-
comes to me. 3 times a year.
That's
he
right.
comes to
He
me.
I've only been to Sacramento once. His schools are amazing. He has
Oh, I'm sorry. For the audience, Master Kovar Brothers, Master Kovar, they located in Sacramento.
Yes,
That's
sir.
why I mentioned that city. I'm sorry, sir. Go
he
ahead.
has schools in New Jersey. So anytime he's in New Jersey to see us, we're usually the day before he visits them. So he'll come do some seminars with us. He'll work with our staff in the morning, and then that evening he'll do like leadership team at one of our schools. But pretty much, yeah. So he's been by far the person who's come the most. Recently, we got Grandmaster Silva to come a few times. He came like super he came 25 years ago and then stopped coming, and then I always invited him, and then somehow he came again, which is really exciting.
Awesome.
Can we?
I
You
do
guys are
have a-
coming to
I'm
the school. I don't like this silence.
I will
I'm
go.
there.
I'll be
Can you
there.
guys send
I'm
me? Can you
there.
guys send me some?
Let's go to Master.
You guys send me
Master
some
Lee.
dates.
Master Lee, let's go together.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'll throw out dates, and maybe we do another podcast out
That would be
there.
great.
And
Awesome.
yeah, and that would be super cool. And
Do we have your brother join us?
He lives
sir?
in Florida now, but
wow.
I'm sorry
it
for
is
that.
it's good for him. He met a girl, got engaged, and she wanted to live in Florida. I hope they'll come back. They're getting married in May, but no, they're doing super well, and he's doing his consulting. Plus, he owns some of what we have.
Just wait till his first hurricane. He'll be back.
I don't know. He lives on the beach. He literally lives like across the street from the set.
Wait till the first
Wait.
hurricane. That's it. That's all we got for. Right?
I grew up in Sarasota,
He's
Florida.
in Fort
Where's
Lauderdale now.
oh, okay.
How did you
Wow.
wind up in California?
So he's near Master. Long story. I'm from Florida, finished high school and went to college in Washington D.C. And then I was not going to go into. I was so like in college and high school. I was like, there's no way I'm going to go, because I saw how hard my dad works. Right. I was like, there's no way I'm going to go into the martial arts business. So I worked in DC at a tech company, and then my father moved out to California, opened up a school, and my father then, as soon as before the school opened, he got diagnosed with colon cancer, but very early stages, stage 1. So very fortunate, totally fine right now. He's healthier than I am. But then when he got diagnosed, he's like, Jimmy, you got to go and open up the school in Irvine, California. And I'm like, okay. I was like, when do I have to? He gave me 2 weeks. And 2 weeks, I had to quit my job, quit my career, and then move to California. And then that's how, from there, shortly after, I met with Master Chan Lee, and then we went through all these seminars together to learn about the business. I was like, wait a minute. I don't have to run the school like the way my father did, which was like very old school. I was like, I could have a lot of fun running the school the way that I want to, running the business the way that I want to. And I had a lot of fun doing it. And then talking business with Master Lee and the people in the industry, I've learned that this is a great, awesome industry to grow your career in, and I can make the money that I'm accustomed to like spending. That just opened my eyes. I actually got to thank my father for that.
Are you guys using TKD
Yeah.
Labs? You can
Absolutely.
cut this out later if you want. I'm just curious.
TKD Labs
Even
is
launched.
not launched yet. It's going to launch this year, and they're selecting their B beta testers. So there's a lot of demand, but a lot of people are asking for that. Yeah. All right. That wraps up today's episode of Black Belt Banter. A huge thank you to Sensei Brenner for sharing his decades of wisdom from building and operating 36 action karate schools. His insights on leadership, systems, culture, and sustainable growth are exactly what school owners need to hear before taking the next big step. If today's conversation sparked ideas, challenged your assumptions, or gave you a clear path to expansion, make sure you share this episode with another school owner who's ready to level up. And as always, thank you to Master Chan Lee for co-hosting with me and bringing his sharp perspective to the discussion. If you want more deep dive conversations on martial arts business, curriculum, culture, and leadership, please be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and connect with us across all platforms. Until next time, keep leading with purpose, keep serving your community, and keep building the kind of martial arts school that creates a legacy worth passing on.
Thank you.
Thank
sir.
you, everybody.